Good morning, everyone. Give me just a minute and we'll get started here. Give a moment to get everybody in their feed. Okay. Okay. So I had to move my time. So I had to move my time because I had a group meeting that I belong to, and it's going to happen on Mondays. It's just started today, a training, and so I'm gonna have to move myself tonight at 10 o'clock anyway. Morning, Tina. Nice to have you with us. I guess Oakland, is she there with you? If you're there, hello, Oakland. All right, so we're going to work today on some thank you cards. That's what I want to concentrate on for the next few times that we're together. And I'm going to use some the sunflower, Abundant Beauty sunflower masks, which are beautiful. And I wanted to work with those today, so I'm going to go on ahead and get us started here. Good morning, Ann. Nice to have you with us. So I very quickly threw stuff out here. It's all here, hopefully, but I have been, like I said, I had this meeting, and I thought I would be done by 9:30, and it probably will be from now on. I'll be at 9:30. It's a 90-minute session. So I'm going to have to, for the next few months, move my time from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock on Mondays. But we're still going to be there. Oh, hello. I'm glad she's there, Miss Oakland. So I want to show you something first. So I went to work on my sunflowers. And that's what we're going to talk about today is the sunflower mask. And I opened up my first pumpkin pie. And can you see it? Can you see how gross it is? It's really gross. It's got this stuff on the side and it's kind of dry, and I have re-inked it, but it still is yucky. And I'm going to tell you that if you haven't noticed some of your ink pads doing this, see how it's up in this area? When I hold this up at a certain angle, you can see how bumpy it looks. I'm going to pitch this, and there are times when you just have to pitch, and this is one of those. Calypso Coral will do it. Mango Melody was really bad about it. They have now gotten rid of that. Blackberry Bliss on occasion will do it. Rich Razzleberry did it a lot. Get them gone. I don't notice it with Cherry Crumb Cake and Real Red, but boy, on these other ones, and once that happens, it is hard to get clear stamped images without getting ink splotch. You pick up all these little splotches of ink, and then you have these ink splotch, and it's awful. And I honestly don't know what else to tell you. And even Stampin' Up! Doesn't know what else to tell you, but just buy a new one, okay? So luckily, I did have another pumpkin pie, and there's a big difference when you look at them side by side. Can you see which is which? This is the fresher one. This is the one that's not, okay? And this one is going out. Okay, so I went to pull these abundant masks, and I created some cards that I want to share with you today. I'm just going to show you this one. This was one of the first ones I did. And then I went on ahead and I played it up a little more. And finally, I took this one, and I tell you what, I love this one. I'm loving this one so much. So that's what we're working on today. How to use masks, your blending brushes, and specifically the abundant ones, okay? All right, so here are the masks that you get in the package. There are 7 different sheets. And I was really surprised with one of them. So here, let's lay this down. Maybe this will help see it a little bit. So you have the sunflower mask. Okay, so you have 3 different sunflowers. Then you have this mask. which is the centers of the sunflowers. Then we have one that's got a little more detail on the sunflowers. We have one that brings the leaves for the sunflowers. And then we have two more. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 more. You have this one, which is the one that I loved with that last one. That was so pretty. We have one here that's kind of a houndstooth pattern. I'm not sure why they call that houndstooth, but that's what they call it. And then I was really surprised over this one. We have one that's the snowflakes. And that may just have to show up in some Christmas cards with some blending brushes. So these are the ones we have, and I'm going to work specifically on these. So you've already seen this one, but I want to show you how these all work. I love the fact that Stampin' Up! Has added something. It's the notch. They have added a notch, and the notch lines everything up. So if you haven't ever used these before, pay very close attention. Do you remember the old darts in our patterns that mothers used to make us use and teach us how to make darts? And you had to line all those dart things up, which I hated those too. I hated sewing. Anyhow, there it is. There's the dart. And so when you go to line this one up, you're not having to go, well, I don't know where it is. Guess what? If you line it up in the very same spot as the notch there, look, it overlays just fine. And if you take this one and add the dimension or the extra emphasis of the centers here with all this extra detail, it lines up just fine. This notch is key, very much a key thing, okay? All right. So we're going to go on ahead and we're going to start. And I am using the craft note cards. So in the next couple of months, I'm going to be talking a lot about gratitude. I'm looking at doing a retreat the first weekend of November at our church. And I want it to be on gratitude. Okay, so I wanted to get together some cards that I had that I could quickly write some thank you notes for. And I went to the craft note cards. There's the craft note cards along with the envelopes. And then it comes with a box too. It has a box that you can put together. I haven't done that yet. It's still in the package. But it has a box that you can put together to hold all your thank you cards. And I thought, isn't that great? It'd be a perfect way to put my cards together, have them all made, and then all I have to do is reach in and take out a card or two a day and write my thank you notes. I need to do that. Hi, Mary. Nice to have you with us. Yep, we need those good things. So what we're going to start with is just one of the note cards. If you never use the note cards, I got to tell you, they're probably one of the best bangs for the buck ever. I don't have my catalog with me, but I don't know, maybe $7 or $8 for 20 note cards and 20 envelopes in white and very vanilla. If somebody's got the catalog, grab it up there and look for these craft note cards. I would bet they're probably $10 because the box is there, but you get 20 of them. What a great thing to start with, okay? I'm going to go on ahead and I cut a mat out of Cajun Craze, and my mat is 4 7/8 by 3 3/8. And then I cut my very vanilla piece, which is 4 3/4 by 3 1/4. I believe. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put some, and I hope I have everything I need here because I put it all out here this last night and I haven't had a chance to really get my act together to make sure I got it all together. So what I've done is I had some repositionable or removable Tombow, and I'm just going to put that on the back of this, and all that's going to do is help hold that in place a little bit, okay? And then I'm going to take and I'm going to lay, and we're going to make this card. If you didn't see what I was doing, this is the card I'm doing. So I'm gonna go on ahead and take this one and I'm gonna lay it on here. And what I want you to do, must have it backwards. Let me see. I don't want it, yep, that's the kind. I don't want my ink to get on my very vanilla piece. So I'm gonna rotate this up until I think I have it in position of where I want. I want to have my greeting down here, so I'm gonna try to keep my flowers up higher. But what I'm gonna do is find my notch, and I'm gonna mark my notch. See it? So when I go to do my next one and I remove it, I've already got my notch there, and all I have to do is line up the notch, and all of a sudden it will line up perfectly. So I'm gonna go on ahead and tape this down. Do you guys use blending brushes very much? I kind of come and go. I'll get on a kick where I'll use a bunch of them, and then I may not use them for a little while. So we're gonna start with the Good Pumpkin Pie. I've got quite a bit of ink there. I like to put some off to the side first. If I don't, I'm gonna get inky spots on my flowers in places that I don't really want it to be darker. And I just start layering in my color. You can just keep adding more to it and makes the color intensify here. So this one here, I went straight to it, and I should have blotted off to the side. Okay. And I'm gonna go on ahead and lift this. And there's the start of my sunflowers. I'm gonna set this off to the side. And even though that moved, it's okay because I have the notch, guys. I'm not worried about it because the notch is there, okay? Morning, Chris. Nice to have you with us today. Actually, I want to add one more thing, so I'm going back with it. I'm going back. I'm going to put my notch here and see how easy it is to line up with the notch. Well, it was until I moved it. Just stay with me, guys. This has been one of those mornings of getting a late start and then coming in here late. There it is. All right. Make sure that it's good and tight. Okay, so I shifted it, so now I'm gonna have to move my notch off just a hair. Okay, give me a second, tape it down again. And this time I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna add a little Cajun craze, and that's what I forgot to do, and I took my mask off. So I'm just gonna not even worry about cleaning my brush right now. I'm just gonna come back in. Because my pumpkin pie is lighter than the Cajun craze, I'm just gonna come in and add a little more intense color right at the center of the flower. So did everybody have a good weekend? We had a busy one with all the kids here. We had Nora and Fiona, and then Calvin. They got to play with baby Calvin. They love baby Calvin. Fee decided that we were going to have pizza from Hugo's. And Papa wanted cheese breadsticks. And she's like, I don't like cheese breadsticks. All they are is bread and cheese. Which kind of is what cheese breadsticks are. Actually, Mary, that was Nora. That was Nora doing the wedding march. Fiona had already taken off. She'd already done her part with strewing the flowers, and that was Nora walking. So if you've never cleaned your brushes before, you're going to take them and you're going to use a microfiber cloth, but I started with the paper cloth because I had quite a bit of color there. And I'm just going to rub this brush in on my microfiber cloth, and you see how it lifts the color? Just keep doing it, and eventually you'll get to where you won't see the color. And it's easy to forget about it and say, oh, I'll get it next time. No, you just need to do it while you're on it. Hey, Narcy, I saw you were here too. Yeah, they were so cute. They enjoyed it. They loved it. They were really going at it on my hydrangea bushes out there, which is fine. That is fine. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I may still have a little bit of an orange tint, but I don't see much. Okay, so now I'm going to add the center of the masks, and I'm hunting. Where did I lay them? And remember, I moved that notch, so now I'm going to have to kind of line it up better. It does overlap just a hair on the orange. Okay. I'm going to tape it down again. And I went on ahead on this one. I used pecan pie, and then I did the all of the detail in early espresso. And I didn't want it to be so dark, so instead I went tone on tone. So we're going to start with pecan pie, and we're going to lay in some color here. Pecan pie, and that's going to get the center. Which I really like pecan pie. I don't know how many of you remember soft suede. I really like pecan pie. I think it's warmer. You used to play wedding, and you use crackers for communion, of course. Oh, that's funny. Oh, we've all played wedding at some point. Okay? So I'm going to lift this one. And now I'm going to add the last one. I'm going to line my notch up as best I can. It may not seem like that's a big thing, but that notch really does make a difference. If you've ever done a lot with the masks and tried to do the overlays, it was really hard trying to get everything to overlay right. So I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to darken these down, this spot, with pecan pie. And because I want it to be a good contrast between, I'm not even worried about taking the ink off, just loading it in. Okay, and we lay this like so, and there we have the centers. Aren't those pretty? Okay, so we have gone on ahead now, and we started off with pumpkin pie. We added more color with Cajun Craze, and then I did tone on tone with pecan pie. First for the center, and then adding the detail. So if you're looking for microfiber, you know, your first thing is probably thinking Groves and Norwex. But my gosh, go to the dollar store. The dollar store has microfiber for a dollar, I think it is, $1.25 now a piece. And they work equally as well. And then after a while, I just kind of throw them all in and I wash them all. I get to a point where I have several of them piled up and then I throw them in, I wash them. So, all right. I think that one is good enough. I can live with that. Now let's add the green for the leaves. The notch down here. I'm going to rotate that just a hair so that leaf is off there. And let's put a little tape down to hold it in place. Have any of you bought these yet? We're going to do a class and speed bingo one night, October 5th. And Jonna and Chris and Pam are going to help me, and we're going to teach some class, some cards, and have all of the details for it, and also have it as a tutorial so you can do your own cards afterwards. In the cost, you will get one large brush and one small brush and a set of these mats and all the tutorials and the card kits. So, you know, it's a good deal. We've already had several people say they want to sign up, and they have. So let me know if you're interested. We'd love to have you join us. We had fun with Speed Bingo. I have to let Jonna do it, though, because I work too fast. I go a mile a minute on it. And her speed is much, much better. I know you are, Patricia. I know you're signed up for it. I've got you on the list. Okay. And then if you feel like you needed to add another leaf, you can do that. You can always come back and add another leaf if you'd like to see one added. I think I'm going to put one in this corner, and I'm going to hold on to my mat and just layer it in. So there are our sunflowers. There's our piece so far. Isn't that pretty? Yeah, October 5th is the class. And I have already started posting it. I posted today on Facebook, on my Facebook, not my Facebook, but on my website. And I will start taking sign-ups already. I already have several. Now, if you've never played Speed Bingo before, it is working out really nice. Jonna did a good job with the Speed Bingo of explaining it and at the speed it needs to be, because sometimes we're too fast. I'm just too fast. And I don't handle calling bingo very well. I don't handle that at all. I don't want anybody to lose. Okay, so that's all we're doing on this point, at this point. Now we're going to come on ahead and we're going to take, and I've decided the best thank you cards that we have in there, stamp set wise, is this one right here. Oh, thanks, Anne. Appreciate that. The Timeless Arrangements has some great thanks greetings stamps, okay? I really appreciate you. Your kindness means everything to me. You make me smile. You are so kind. Thank you for always being there. You can pair them up. Just can't say, just can't say thanks enough. You are the best friend you could go. Hope your day is filled with everything good, for always believing in me from the bottom of my heart. So I'm going to be using these a lot in my gratitude posts and things. But the other thing I'm going to go with are the little labels. Now they have all sorts of little die cuts on here. All sorts of them. And they're great. They layer together well. They're fun to work with. But I'm specifically looking at these three because those are the ones that are made for these greetings. And so that's going to make my card so much faster having that label that's already perfectly sized to it. So we're going to start with this one, and the one I'm going to have, it says thanks. I'm going to do this in Mossy Meadow. I use Mossy Meadow a lot. I like Mossy Meadow. Thanks. And then underneath it, I'm going to have for always being there. Thanks for always being there. Yeah, we have a good time with the speed bingo. Need the card ideas to break it up a little bit. And I cut myself a little bit of a mat out of Cajun Craze. Put on some dimensionals, and this one will be ready to finish off. Right here. So what did everybody do over the weekend? Anybody else have any plans for the weekend that you did? Something exciting? Nobody's being exciting. Lost my card. So I have to go find one. There and here. And then to finish it off, I'm using the rustic metallic adhesive back little pieces, dots. They call them dots. So there's one right there. Oh, you had kiddos too. You had kiddos, yes, and you watched a lot of football. We watched a lot of football too. We watched a lot. We were really tickled yesterday. We're no longer in last place by ourselves in the AFC because 3 of those teams lost. And the funniest one is the one that won is the one that you'd expect would be at the bottom. So it's a hoot and a half. So, all right, this one here, I can't wait to show you. So I want you to look at this. I went with a very different color combination. I didn't want to just use pumpkin pie or crushed curry or early espresso. I wanted something different, Cajun Craze. So instead I went with copper clay. I went with wild wheat. And I went with pebbled path. And I'm still going to pull in my Mossy Meadow. All right, so we're going to start with this, and this is just one mask. Again, I have my card here, same measurement. So this is 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back side. That is adhesive that's removable, just so it'll help hold it in place without tearing it, okay? And I'm going to take the mask that I'm going to use. I have to find it. That's the problem. When you come in here and you just barely get started off of something else, I haven't really had time to sit and think about what I was doing. Here it is. And I'm going to make this one a vertical card. So I'm going to turn it this way. All right. I'm going to take a little bit of tape that's already on that mask. I'm going to tape it down like so. Okay. And I'm going to start with my wild wheat. Start with wild wheat. And I will tell you that I have to be very careful because these are very juicy. I haven't used my new In Colors very much. Probably the copper clay, maybe I've opened it twice. So I'm just barely going to tap, and you'll see that I'll have quite a bit of ink. And what I want to do is I'm going to try to just do certain spots. I'm going to make this one here the maple leaf, but it will overlap, and that's okay. It will overlap onto some of these others. So you might have it picking up the stem in another one. Does this make sense? Like here. I started with the acorns in Pebble Path, but they kind of went over into those oak leaves too. And that's okay because I like how it kind of blends and colors in. Here's another one I'm talking about. It changes color. So I'm going to come through here and I'm going to do that with all of these leaves that are kind of mapley. Here's one. Have to be careful when I clean it because those little veins will pull up. Okay, here's one. Another one here. And one right in the center, right here. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna go with that. It looks like that's all I wanna color in, so I'm gonna clean this one and get rid of this too. I do, I like the blended colors. Okay, then the next one we're gonna go to is copper clay. I wanna call it Georgia clay, and I know that's not right. I have to think alliteration. Just like so. All right, copper clay, and on copper clay, I'm gonna make these leaves. So each one of these is going to be a different, unique look based on the color combinations you use. I have been seeing the sunflowers used in multiple colors besides just sunflower colors. I've seen them used as pinks and blues and you name it. Okay, is that pretty much all of them? I think so. Has anybody ever washed your brushes? I wonder how well they would wash. I don't know if they would wash well or not. Okay, so that one's off. So now let's come with one that is green, and we'll do a little bit of green. No, let's don't. Let's go with the Pebble Path. Let's get those acorns done. So I'm going to come in with the acorns and do these acorns. I see I missed a leaf right there, and that's okay. Okay, here's a little one. Looks like that's all the acorns. And we're going to come back now and finish up with this. You think the microfiber does the best, Aunt? I did, the stain is going to be there. Once you've got the stain of the pigment of the ink, it's not going to disappear. But, yeah. I might have to try washing one sometime to see. I'm a bit off camera. Okay. Okay, so that should do that one. And now we're going to finish up with Mossy Meadow. So what other color combinations, if you wanted to put 4 colors together for these leaves and these different colors, what would you put? Would you put Crimson Craze or cherry cobbler in there with anything? I almost did a cherry cobbler. Almost did. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is look and see if there's anything that's not quite filled in. And I'm just going to kind of touch over with a little more color. I don't care if it's a different color, if there's a stem or anything. I think we're in good shape. Okay, so here's the magic, because when we lift this, we have no idea what this is going to look like. We might say it's beautiful. We might say, ooh, I don't like it. So let's see. So for those of you that are in person bingo, all of the goodie bag stuff showed up Friday. And I did not open anything until after the girls and everybody was gone. There was no need to try to open it and pull it all out. So this afternoon, I am cutting bingo. I have a friend coming to help. For those of you that did paper shares, all but 2 of the paper shares and ribbon shares, all but 2 of the papers are here. And they will be starting to cut on Friday, and they are ready to be mailed out as soon as those other 2 come in. Okay, here we go. Ta-da! Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I love that. Oh, yeah. Adult coloring. Yep. All right. So there we have our card. I'm going to go on ahead and put my adhesive on the back. I didn't come in with a silicone mat, so I have to kind of get it going by myself. Isn't that beautiful? Love that. Okay, so then I'm also going to go to this twine. This is the In Color twine. It's a little too thick for me. I don't like twine that thick. So I'm going to cut it down. And I'm going to twist and see if I can get it to come apart into at least 2 fibers. Now, if I was really smart, I'd have had a dryer sheet up here and run the dryer sheet over that length of the twine, because the dryer sheet would actually straighten it out. Okay? But I don't have a dryer sheet. So now I have to use my mouth. So just a second. There's one. Okay, and I'm going to go on ahead. Even though these are 2, I want them separated. Okay. All right. Now, if I had my dryer sheet, I could do this and rub it down with the dryer sheet, and that would straighten that out. Oh, counter would work too. Yep. All right. I'm just going to work it through my hands here. And I get some of the extra fiber, and that's okay, because it was too thick for me. I want thinner. I like baker's twine the best. All right. So I'm going to go under here. When I'm using baker's twine and things, I'm going to use, I'm going to go all the way around. If I'm doing a ribbon, you will see me cut the ribbons and then just tape it down on the side. But when I'm doing baker's twine, I just go all the way around. All right. so. Make sure that's pretty even. I'm going to go on ahead and put my adhesive down. And I usually go over the string or the ribbon with my adhesive. It just helps to kind of hold it in place. Here's my card. Did anybody look up the cost on these cards? I think they're like 10 bucks. Anybody got a catalog? And if you really want to play with it, you can fringe it out a little bit. Take your, whatever your take a pick tool, take your paper piercers if you still have those. You can get one of these like at Dollar Tree. They're pretty cheap, and it just kind of fringes it out a little more, okay? All right, and then for my greeting, again, I have those labels, and that's what I'm going to be using quite a bit of. And I'm going to go on ahead and stamp this one in, let's see, let's stamp it in Pebble Path. And I have the one that says a very big thank you. So I'm going to start with this one on top. I have a spot that I can't tell if it, yep, it must be on the block. It looks like it's got a spot where there's no ink. A very big thank you. $10 for 20 cards and 20 envelopes, and then the box that they go in. Perfect. I thought they would probably be about 10. And all I did was take a scrap of the copper clay. Is that right? Copper clay? Copper clay. And then I'm just gonna trim this up so it's a little nicer and a little more even. Like so. And some dimensionals. And my gems. And I have the start for my cards, for my thank you cards, my gratitude cards that I want to build. And a little bit of rustic dots, and we're done. That one doesn't even have the adhesive. The adhesive stayed there. There we go, guys. There's my cards. If you haven't used the masks, they are so easy to use and create. Can you think of that blue one with all of the snowflakes in it? Wouldn't it be beautiful with all the different shades of blues, just like this? Very, very pretty. So here's 2 cards that I made today. Here was the other one that I created earlier to show you. Again, our speed bingo is going to be on October 5th. That's a Thursday night. We'll start at 7 p.m. Central Time. So for those of you on the East Coast, that'll be 8 o'clock. And it's going to be using these masks. So you will see those cards, not specifically these, but you'll see 4 different cards from us. And we'll play 4 games of bingo. The cost is $30 if we're mailing and shipping things to you. It's $25 if you're picking up here at the house and I don't have to deliver anything. You have to pick it up instead. It is $20 a product, which is going to be your 2 brushes, the mini one and the big one, and the Abundant Beauty masks. And you will be able to use the colors of inks that you have and you want to use. You do not have to do them with us on Facebook Live because it'll all be recorded. You can come back and do them and you'll have an email tutorial. So very, very easy. $5 will go towards the prizes, and then we will play bingo, speed bingo, and the prizes will actually be a certain amount that you can get for a gift card from me for Stampin' Up! Products. So there it is. All right, guys, have a great day. We will not be back tomorrow night. This week is busy between Christmas. Tomorrow night is my Christmas card class number 3. And we also have bingo on Thursday. So Wednesday night, we're going to be packing and cutting, finishing up the bingo and working on paper shares. So there won't be any Tuesday night with Pam and myself. So we'll see you next week. Have a great week, gals. Bye-bye.